views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. Bahamas charged in mass drug trafficking case appearing in U.S. court for status hearing. Brookfield securing $1.9 billion refinancing for Atlantis. The company will invest another $475 million into the resort. And shelters throughout the country ready in case Aaron changes course. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Friday, August 15th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Ricardo Wells will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll get a preview of the Caribbean Volleyball Championships going on right here in Nassau. And in our Safe and Sound series, in Morning Blend Business, we are talking about the ripple effect of crime on business continuity. It's all ahead on this Friday, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, a senior police officer and a former senior Royal Bahamas Defense Force officer are both accused of involvement in a conspiracy to import tons of cocaine into the United States. Appearing in a New York court this week, Police Chief Superintendent Elvis Curtis, former Defense Force Chief Petty Officer Darren Roker, and Bahamian William Simeon and Ulrich Jean-Baptiste appeared before Judge Gregory H. Woods for a status hearing Tuesday. A Colombian, Luis Fernando Orozco Toro, who was also charged with the men, was absent due to production oversight, we're told. According to the court, the parties updated the court on the status of discovery and anticipated production schedule. The court directed the parties to be prepared to propose a schedule for motions and hearings and a trial at the next conference. Locally, a convict who was on bail awaiting resentencing for a 1990 murder should not be returned to prison, according to his lawyer, Sonia Timothy Knowles, making the submissions on behalf of Ricardo Farrington this month. Farrington was sentenced to death in 1992 after he was convicted of the May 15, 1990 murder of Reynard Richardson. In 1996, the Privy Council quashed the death sentence and commuted Farrington's sentence to life imprisonment. 28 years later, the Privy Council ordered Farrington released on bail on his own recognizance after ruling that it made a serious procedural error by not hearing arguments on the appropriate substitute sentence. Timothy Knowles noted that Farrington had already spent 34 years and 6 months in custody before he was freed on bail in December 2024. She said this was the amount of time that Farrington would have spent in custody after receiving remission for a 51-year prison sentence. Senior Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson has reserved her decision. A man accused of rape elected to remain silent when the prosecution closed its case on Thursday. Spark Elvis Strap is on trial for the rape of a 17-year-old girl on January 27, 2017. Prosecutors allege that Strap offered the teenager a ride and took her to his home on Tyler Street, where he raped her. In his interview with police, Strap admitted that he had sex with the teenager but claimed it was consensual. He claimed that the teen was upset that he didn't have the $500 that she said or that she had requested. Strap, who's on bail, is represented by David Cash. Brookfield announcing that its $1.93 billion refinancing of Atlantis Paradise Island has been completed, and it is planning to invest another $475 million in the property in the coming years. The company noted this will include a full renovation of the cove beginning next year, which will include the upgrade of guest rooms, public areas, pools, and dining venues. It also said that the investment will encompass a series of high-impact projects across the resort aimed at elevating the guest experience and strengthening Atlantis' competitive position. In a statement, Brookfield said these investments are expected to create hundreds of local construction jobs and support new long-term employment opportunities for the country for Bahamians. Noting that Atlantis is the largest private sector employer in the Bahamas with approximately 6,200 team members, so that more than 20% of Atlantis employees have been with the resort for more than 2 decades. And as the Disaster Risk Management Authority continues to work towards broader shelter access and development across the country, DRM Managing Director Aaron Sargent says the Bahamas should be aware of nearby shelters should Tropical Storm Erin hit the country. On Thursday, members of the DRM gathered to brief the press regarding Tropical Storm Erin, a system that developed earlier this week and is forecast to become a major hurricane in the next few days. Though the storm is not forecast to directly hit the Bahamas, the looming threat has called for forecasters to urge Bahamians to stay alert and make early preparations. Sargent says shelters in the country are prepared to offer housing if Erin switches course. Overseas, U.S. President Donald Trump is meeting face-to-face with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska today for a high-stakes summit that could determine not only the trajectory of the war in Ukraine, but also the fate of European security. The sit-down offers Trump a chance to prove to the world that he is both a master deal-maker and a global peacemaker. He and his allies have cast him as a heavyweight negotiator who can find a way to bring the slaughter to a close, something he used to boast he could do quickly. For Putin, a summit with Trump offers a long-sought opportunity to try to negotiate a deal that would cement Russia's gains, block Kyiv's bid to join NATO, and eventually pull Ukraine back into Moscow's orbit. There are significant risks for Trump. By bringing Putin onto U.S. soil, the president's giving Russia's leader the validation he desires after his being ostracized following his invasion of Ukraine 3.5 years ago. The exclusion of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky from the summit also dealing a blow to the West's policy of nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine, and invites the possibility that Trump could agree to a deal that Ukraine does not want. Meanwhile, European leaders are praising Trump for agreeing to allow U.S. military support for force they are mustering to police any future peace in Ukraine, a move that vastly improves the chances of success for an operation that could prove essential for the country's security. The leader said Trump offered American military backup for the European Reassurance Force during a call they held with him ahead of his planned summit with Putin today. They did not say what the assistance might involve, and Trump himself has not publicly confirmed any support. And the security firm of former U.S. Navy SEAL Eric Prince will soon deploy nearly 200 personnel from various countries to Haiti as part of a 1-year deal to quell gang violence. That's according to a person with knowledge of the plans. The deployment by Vectus Global is meant to help the government of Haiti recover vast swaths of territory seized in the past year and now controlled by heavily armed gangs. That's according to the person speaking to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity. The company, which provides logistics, infrastructure, security, and defense, is run by Prince, a major donor to U.S. President Donald Trump. Prince previously founded the controversial security firm Blackwater. The deployment was first reported by Reuters. Vectors Global will also assume a long-term role in advising Haiti's government on how to restore revenue collection capabilities once the violence subsides. In June, then leader of Haiti's National or Transitional Presidential Counsel, Fritz-Alphonse Jean, confirmed that the government was using foreign contractors. He declined to identify the firm or say how much the deal was worth. The head of Haiti Observatory at the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime says the operations would violate U.S. law unless the U.S.-based private military company had permission from the U.S. government to work in Haiti. In sports, the men's 4x100-meter medley relay team turning a seventh place finish to wrap up the swimming competition at the 2025 Junior Pan American Games in Paraguay. The team of Lamar Taylor, Emmanuel Gibson, Nigel Forbes, and Marvin Johnson, in that order, swam a new national record of 3:45.26 in the heats and then 3:45.64 in the final, touching the wall in seventh place. The quartet, along with female swimmers Zoe Williamson and Elsie Wood, ended the swimming portion of the meet as one of the more accomplished swim teams in Bahamian history at a continental meet in the Americas. You can read more about it in today's Guardian Sports section and how the team finished with 2 medals at these games. It wasn't easy, but the Reapers Baseball Club defeated the Rebels 4-2 in a tightly contested Game 5 to emerge as the 2025 New Providence Amateur Baseball League champions at Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium. The series went back and forth from the opener, but the Reapers took the best-of-5 championship 3-2, becoming the league's first champion in their return from nearly a 2-decade hiatus. Reapers head coach A.J. Ferguson was overcome with emotion as he spoke about what it means to end the season as title holders. You can read his comments in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association still in celebration mode after the 2025 Davis Cup team gained promotion at the 2025 Davis Cup Americas Group 4 tournament last week. The hope now is that the 2025 Billie Jean King Cup team can experience similar success at their America's Zone 3 tournament set for August 18th through 23rd in El Salvador. Team Bahamas will be represented by veteran Simone Pratt and Sydney Clark, along with Jaleesa Clark and Sapphire Ferguson. The quartet will be coached by team captain Kim O'Kelly. The team, with the exception of Ferguson, got in a practice session at the BLTA National Tennis Center on Wednesday. Coach O'Kelly is fairly confident the team can perform well in El Salvador. From the NBA, every NBA team will have at least 2 national TV games this season. The league confirming this Thursday as part of its full schedule unveiling for 2025-26. There are simply more national games now than ever. Now the league's new 11-year, $76 billion agreements with ABC, ESPN, NBC Peacock, and Amazon Prime Video are about to formally begin. There will be 247 games scheduled on those networks this season, up from 172 last season between ABC, ESPN, and TNT. Some other highlights: the NBA, which did not play on Election Day in 2022, 23, or 24, will have games on that date this season. It falls on November 4th in the U.S., and the NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder will play the Los Angeles Clippers as part of the 6-game slate on that date. There is one special election to fill a congressional seat on that date this year, along with 2 gubernatorial races and numerous state and local races. The NBA still plans to not have games on election days during midterm and presidential election years, which would mean no games at those dates next year or 2028. And there will be games this season on April 6th, the day of the NCAA Men's Basketball National Championship game in Indianapolis. Atlanta, Orlando, Memphis, San Antonio, and Denver all host games on that date. The Knicks at Atlanta is the Peacock game. And the final day of the regular season is April 12th, and all 30 teams will be playing, but the league is rolling back the start times. All games were at either 1 p.m. or 3:30 p.m. Eastern last season. They'll be either 6 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. this season. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Any weather for today, brought to you by Star General. The Department of Meteorology issuing another special marine weather statement on Tropical Storm Erin, noting that dangerous marine conditions are likely on the Atlantic waters and Atlantic exposed waters of the country this weekend through the middle of next week. So the Met Office saying that they're urging everyone to monitor the progress of Erin, currently in the central western tropical Atlantic, about 1,081 miles east-southeast of Abrams Bay in Mayaguana, for about 1,174 miles southeast of Coburn Town, San Salvador. Erin is moving towards the west-northwest near 17 miles per hour and has sustained maximum winds of 70 miles per hour with higher gusts. Additional strengthening is forecast, and Erin is expected to become a hurricane today and a major hurricane this weekend. So the forecast track keeps Erin to the southeast, well, just east of the Bahamas, as a major hurricane beginning Sunday through Tuesday, and then northeast of the northern Bahamas on Wednesday. However, due to Erin's distance from the Bahamas, track changes are likely, and so it's important that everyone monitors this closely. Even though at the moment it is expected to remain east of the Bahamas, the impacts from Erin is still uncertain. However, the risk of large ocean swells, dangerous waves and surfs, and life-threatening rip currents increases for Atlantic exposures, as well as passages, bites, and cuts in the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. And that should begin early Sunday, and for the central Bahamas on Sunday evening, and for the northwest Bahamas early Monday morning, and the extreme northern islands by midday on Monday. And again, these conditions are expected to continue through to midweek next week. So mariners and coastal residents are advised to take all necessary precautions and continue to pay attention to Erin. We'll, of course, keep you updated here on the Guardian News Network. For today, we've got another heat warning in effect for the entire country and the Turks and Caicos Islands. The southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos will experience a severe heat wave with feel-like temperatures, again ranging between 112 and 122 Fahrenheit, while the rest of the country will experience feel-like temperatures between 102 and 111 Fahrenheit, and that will continue for at least the next 3 to 5 days. The forecast for today, partly mostly sunny, becoming partly cloudy tonight for the extreme northern islands, pretty much the same for the northwest Bahamas, and partly cloudy for the central islands through tonight. Partly sunny for the southeast Bahamas, fair tonight. We've got a 10 to 20% chance of showers for the northern, northwest, and southeast Bahamas, but a 40 to 60% chance of widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms for the central Bahamas. Winds easterly at 10 to 15 knots for most areas, northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots for the northwestern islands. Temperatures today, another hot day as we said. Highs around 94 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius, but the heat index, we already told you about that, as high as 112 Fahrenheit, 44 Celsius for some parts of the country. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 78 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. More on Erin and the extended outlook for your weekend coming up in a bit. But this weather check brought to you by Star General, insurance made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day.
It is time for a break. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clarkson Island Luck, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Spring into savings at Robert's Furniture with appliance combos that work for your home and your pocket. GE 18 cubic feet fridge and stove, only $15.99. Visit our linen department where 100% cotton towels start at just $2. Take advantage of the long summer evenings with Panama Jack patio furniture and save 25%. Or how about a free box spring with any orthopedic mattress purchase? And with salary deductions, layaway, and the gift registry, there's a payment option to suit every budget. Robert's Furniture, quality, comfort, style, 5th Terrace, Centerville. 322-8862. Like us on Facebook.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, wake up.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also in your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Join me now, Ricardo Wells. Ricardo Wells.
Pleasure to be here today.
Good morning. Good morning. We did a little switcheroo. You're going to be here every third Friday now.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. It works.
Well, there you go. Good. Good stuff. Always great to have you with us. And we got a lot to talk about today. The Caribbean Volleyball Championships is going on now. Right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And so we're going to get details about that. Did you know it's happening? We're going to tell you what to expect over the next few days right here in Nassau. And later in business, it's our monthly Safe and Sound series. We are talking about the ripple effects of crime on business continuity. You can imagine it has a big impact.
I'm so interested in that conversation.
Yeah. Kamal Noor is going to be here with us for that. So that's all ahead. But let's begin with what else is happening in the news. And in the news, a big headline in the NASA Guardian, Brookfield secures $1.9 billion refinancing for Atlantis. The company is going to invest another $475 million into Atlantis over the next few years. It's almost $500 million right there, right? And so that's some great stuff. For more on what's happening, take a listen to this report from our Vonnie Katut.
Views and opinions of the hosts and guests are
Brookfield has announced the successful completion of a $1.93 billion refinancing of Atlantis Paradise Island. Officials said in a statement today, the new financing underscores Brookfield's longstanding and continued commitment to the resort, its team members, and the Bahamian economy. Brookfield is planning an additional $475 million in capital improvements over the next 5 years. This includes a full renovation of the coast starting next year, upgrading guest rooms, public areas, pools, and dining venues, as well as a series of high-impact projects across the resort aimed at elevating the guest experience. These investments are expected to create hundreds of local construction jobs and support new long-term employment opportunities for Bahamians. Brookfield is also exploring strategic development opportunities across 46 acres of land adjacent to Atlantis and evaluating plans to redevelop the former beach tower. Atlantis is the largest private sector employer in the Bahamas with approximately 6,200 team members. More than 20% of Atlantis employees have been with the resort for over 2 decades. The Ministry of Tourism says it welcomes Brookfield's refinancing of Atlantis Paradise Island, along with the company's proposed $475 million in additional investments. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism Chester Cooper said in a statement, Brookfield's planned investments at Atlantis are expected to create hundreds of jobs. He says these initiatives provide meaningful opportunities for skills development, on-the-job training, and career advancement, contributing to the growth of a capable and versatile workforce within the Bahamas' tourism sector.
Okay, so that's our Vonnie Toot there. There's a few more details in the paper today. So again, Brookfield announcing this $1.93 billion refinancing, the company noting that it will include a full renovation of the Cove beginning next year, which will include the upgrade of guest rooms, public areas, pools, and dining venues. It also said that the investment will encompass a series of high-impact projects across the resort aimed at elevating guest experiences. So in a statement, Brookfield said these investments are expected to create hundreds of local construction jobs and support new local long-term employment opportunities, and that the refinancing positions Brookfield to continue enhancing the guest experience, creating jobs, and ensuring that Atlantis remains a vital contributor to the Bahamian economy. Of course, Atlantis, the largest private sector employer in the country with 6,200 team members. And it says that more than 20% of their employees have been with the resort for over 2 decades. So Brookfield is also apparently exploring strategic development opportunities across the 46 acres of land adjacent to Atlantis and evaluating plans to redevelop the former beach tower.
How many acres?
46 acres. Does it seem like there's 46 acres out there?
I got to imagine what direction across from Atlantis is actually referring to.
Is it like including the dredging or something? I mean, okay, but I'll take their word for it. But that was interesting. They're evaluating the plans to redevelop the former beach tower. We were talking about this off air. You remember just a few years back, there was a lot of hubbub about it. The Pharrell Williams project.
I had no idea Pharrell was tied in until you mentioned it.
Yeah, that was supposed. It was. We looked it up because I forgot the name. Somewhere else, it was supposed to be the beach tower. They were going to redevelop it, but then we didn't hear much about it, and so I don't know. Is that off the table? Is Pharrell looking somewhere else?
Well, according to this refinancing deal announced yesterday, the upgrades are across the Cove, and I think one other property. So we keep forgetting that Atlantis has so many different portions to their resort. So it could still be on the table. There could be still space in the inn for Pharrell and his team to do what they plan to do. But it's a waiting game at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, we will see. I will note that that Tyler Perry movie that was no offense to Atlantis, but a horrible movie, by the way.
Right.
But
did it help with the promotion? That was the point of it.
What it did for me was show that Atlantis really does need some renovating.
Yeah.
Say, wow, this is.
I'm surprised that they're
beginning
starting
to
with the Cove,
look.
though. Yeah, because that was one of the strongest properties on the campus. So.
Yeah. Well, I think the high-end clientele have very high standards.
Yeah.
And so you probably need to
And
deal
don't
with
forget,
that first.
Bahama right now is kind of positioning itself as the #1 luxury brand in the Bahamas. So Atlantis is trying to play catch up, particularly with that, because it's just obvious that persons that have the purse to be in the Bahamas is now choosing Bahama. So,
oh boy! All right, so we wish them all the best, and interested to see where this goes. Of course, let's hear from you though. What do you make of it? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. So what's happening at the Beach Tower
Isn't
right
this
now?
the-
Is it open? Is Beach Tower?
Not
Is
sure.
anything going on?
I've seen some social media reports over the last couple of years that guests that have stayed at the beach towers have not been very pleased with the amenities. So,
Yeah.
is this not the second or third refinance that Brookfield has gone through? No.
I'm sure I wouldn't be able to keep track, but hey, what you got to do? What you got to do? You got to do what you got to do. Yeah. Let's get your reaction again. You can call us or tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. Oh, they're saying Beach Tower's not been open since the pandemic. Oh boy. Wow. Okay. And that those acres will probably include the old Club Med.
Oh, okay.
All
That
right.
makes sense.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. This person says here, this is for this show? Okay. Hey, everyone, there's a stomach bug or virus going around. The Ministry of Health should officially warn everyone about the uptick. Okay, thank you so much. Dwight, you're so right. That was a horrible movie. It was embarrassing. On almost every level. Let's take this call. Good
I've not
morning.
seen the movie, by
You
the
haven't
way.
seen it?
No.
Oh, well.
I heard all of the
Good
reviews.
for you. Good for
Saved
you.
myself a couple hours.
That's wonderful. You'd be more entertained just to walk around Atlantis. That's not an insult to Atlantis. It's just how terrible the movie is.
Tyler Perry
Or
has
to
been-
look at pictures of Atlantis. That
Tyler
would be
Perry
more
has not
entertaining.
been in his bag recently, so I'm not gonna hold it against him. I think he could, at some point, make a decent movie again. But I didn't understand the concept. I didn't know why Medea needed to come to Atlantis. What was the plan for Medea in
She wanted a
Atlantis?
vacation.
Okay. How long did it take him to shoot that movie?
Looked like 2 hours.
Okay.
But probably much longer. Caller, good morning. What say you?
Good morning, Dwight, and wanted to your guest or your co.
Good morning.
I just want to give my opinion on Atlantis. I'm a former employee at Atlantis. I worked there for 26 years. But I came at the time when Saul Kirshner had just bought the property, and I saw the development of, the Cove, the Reef, the Royal Towers, and I think Saul had a great vision and his standard and what he stood for. I just don't think that the Brookfield, I don't think that they have that level of commitment that he had, because even before I left Atlantis, you saw the standard of the property was not kept the way how it used to. And I think that Atlantis is a wonderful resort. It's a wonderful place. And I think that is why, you don't see the level of commitment from Brookfield. I think you see now why certain things are happening, why they may have certain guests, high guests probably not coming like how they used to, because I just don't think they have the level of commitment that he had. And I know that before the pandemic, I think they were trying to sell Atlantis, and that did not happen. So, it's a great place. I think that they should just sell that place to somebody who's going to take Atlantis to the next level, because they are nowhere near to a Saul person, or God bless his soul. When he was in charge, it was the best. It was one of the best places to work. Happy staff, happy guests. You just felt, and he educated you. He empowered you. It was just a place that was just so wonderful to work in, and I would like to see that come back to Atlanta.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I mean, it was a completely different market back then, though. The amenities, the things that people expect at these sorts of resorts, it was completely different back then. So you just have to look at all of the things that has gone into Bahama, and I keep bringing up that property because they are the two dominant players on the island.
Yeah.
And you look at what has gone into Bahama, and you look at what Atlantis used to be, completely different. Look at all the other big hotel markets. We competing with Miami, we're competing down in South America with Colombia and places like that. The type of resorts that are now being developed are completely different than what Atlantis has to offer. I know it's built on the family concept and they want to keep that, but at the same time, those persons aren't the persons spending money to stay at resorts like that. They go to Disney now. They go to all those other resorts where the kids can have these all-inclusive experiences. That's not Atlantis anymore.
Well, yeah. But to some, they might not be able to compete as fully with those things. But, to the caller's point, somebody's passion project is always going to be different than another division in a big company, right? And so that's unfortunate when you get to the type of tourism that we seem to be doing now.
But when he cashed out, I think when the Kersner family initially moved on from the property, didn't they stay behind, or they were on some sort of retainer process to manage the property? So weren't they still involved, the family, that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has that come to an end, or?
I don't think there are any.
Okay.
I wouldn't know exactly, but I doubt there are any Kersners around.
The family still holds ownership of the Atlantis property. Well, I'm not sure if it's still Atlantis in Dubai.
Oh. You're telling me. Okay, I really haven't been keeping up, but I hear you, and this is why we offered a very different experience in the years gone by, right? Where you stayed at someone's property, it was intimate, they knew you come back every year, they know your family, they grow with you, but once you get super big and become part of a corporation. Things change.
I still don't think we're giving enough credit to how much tourism has changed in that time. Like, I remember as a young kid going over to Orlando, to Disney World. I don't imagine parents just taking kids to a property like Disney World anymore and just, that's it. These kind of vacation stays are all about events, all about atmosphere. That's why the cruise industry has taken off the way it has, because you're kind of insulated in that, dreamlike state for a period of time. And
well, there are people who want that, but there are people who want a more intimate experience.
Yeah, but Atlantis?
No, it's definitely not. Definitely, nor Bahama. But there are people who would really like a place where everybody knows you and remembers you, not just because you gave them a giant tip, but because
tips are important.
But because we just as small, or we get to know our guests. But I think we have that in the Bahamas. Increasingly not in New Providence.
I was about to say, definitely not in the capital.
But I'm sure there are people who would like that. Yeah. All right, let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
How you doing?
Doing well.
Good. As a former employee of Atlantis, one must understand that Brookfield is the asset management company. They ain't a hotel operator. They refinance a loan that for Mr. Kersner. I think that was around 2012 or somewhere around there when he had a $2.some million debt refinancing. And then they allowed him to operate, the Kersner International to operate that hotel. And then they were dropped after a while, and the Brookfield took over. Brookfield has to put money into that hotel in order to sell that. That hotel will not be sold as is. They will lose money trying to sell that as is. I think the whole, that's like you selling a 30-year-old car, you know. Atlanta still is an attractive brand. The Royal Towers was supposed to have been, I think, celebrity Pharrell, or I remember in maybe 2022, it was supposed to take over the beach towers.
Beach, yeah.
Yeah, and that fell through. That was supposed to actually be open last year, 2024, as a new hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that deal fell through. I think Atlantis was supposed to be sold. They had a deal on the table before the pandemic, and the pandemic actually caused that deal to fall through. You know, but they put about $100 and something million into that property, Dwight, and that's not enough. That property needs at least $500 million or more as investment in order for them to have an attractive buyer to buy Atlantis back. Atlantis is not what it was. Brookfield is not a hotel operator. They're not concerned about being a hotel operator. They are they're trying to get as much revenue for their investment, and that's it. You know, unless we find someone who is interested in Atlantis or interested in coming in at a reasonable offer, then, you know, I think that hotel could revive itself. But it's still an attractive destination. It sits on this island. You know, if between the government and the nation, if we want to still be in this stopover visitor market, that's one of the prime destinations right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it still has its potential, man.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
hopefully this is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, wow. Got some interesting messages here. Okay, this is not about Atlantis, but this is about something we read in the overnight, a court matter. The texter says, "Did you say the guy who slept with the teen didn't have the $500 that she expected, and the teen was not charged with prostitution?" As much women that are openly selling their bodies, I don't see anyone being charged with prostitution. Well, you know, texter, that's what he is saying. And if he is found not guilty, I guess they can, if they wish, the prosecutors can pursue this and see
those claims
false claim, but that's
still
very
don't
serious.
negate the fact that it would be statutory rape, or I think it's unlawful sex.
17. I think she was 17. Yeah.
She?
Let's see. 17. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't negate.
No. But you're focusing on the wrong thing. The wrong thing. But if she did make a false claim, you know, perhaps prosecutors should go after her for that if he is found to be not guilty. Okay, this texter says here, the plot was actually that Medea's...
Are we really having this conversation?
It was a destination wedding. I tried to block it out. I'm sorry. Yes, it's destination wedding. Yeah, thank you.
I just want to ask the texter, did you enjoy the movie? Because all of the reviews I've heard so far, it's a terrible movie. So it seems that you're very committed.
But if you're interested, there was actually Medea's niece was having a destination wedding in the Bahamas. In the movie, they tried too hard to be funny and focused too heavily on the character of Medea. Well, they always do that. And her shenanigans, and not the development of the plot. Plot! I don't think plot in Medea has happened since the first movie they did.
Let me say it like this. The movie may have been good enough to lead to this refinancing. It may have been. Somebody probably saw that.
Producer's nodding. You think so?
Yeah. So somebody saw it, was like, "Hey, we could really put some work into that property. Let's try and get some money out of it."
Wow, no, that's dark and deep. But
could have worked like that. Tyler Perry probably had somebody who's like, "Hey."
That's all I was seeing in the bridge suite scenes.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this used to be amazing, but this looks like they used to store things in there.
So somebody saw the movie and is like, yeah, let's put a couple billion into that. Let's see what we can get out of it.
Wow. Okay.
So all good things in the end. All good things.
Boy, I tell you.
No?
Maybe we can film a movie on some streets around here, and then maybe we'll get some. Anyway,
start with Bay Street, Shirley Street, corridor.
Bay Street downtown, a whole movie downtown. That's like, oh God, we need someone to help finance this redevelopment. Okay. The texter says it was not a good movie and did not represent the best rooms Atlantis had. It seemed like a blast from the 90s. Yeah, it really did seem like it's time for a change. Yeah. Saul Kirsten was a hotelier, which means it was his passion and dream. Brookfield's investment company profits and bottom line is their interest. Well, that's what it's saying.
We live in a capitalistic society now. Profit is everybody's bottom line, man. Like, I don't know, the caller said it great. He compared Atlantis to an old car, and sometimes when you can't get the best value out of a vehicle, what you do? You sell off parts. That could be a consideration.
Wow.
I'm just saying, let's keep it a buck here. You consider things like that to improve one step at a time.
Yikes.
You can't bring in one big developer to say, hey, I'm just going to shove $500 million into this and make things work. You do it one small step at a time.
Can you imagine? They say, well, how come these two buildings look so similar, but they are under different people? What's that about? And you have to go back over the whole story. Well, back in the... I don't know. This person says here, Disney Caribbean. Imagine what Disney could do with that property. What?
One can only hope.
Hope? Really? I think that would be...
Dwight?
I don't know. Would that be a good thing?
Yes. You put a Disney theme park over on Paradise Island. Just a small one. It doesn't have to be as grand as anything in Orlando. I don't think you understand how much
You could call the beach towers under the sea.
Or you could just call it Mickey's Kingdom someday. Something random. I'm just saying that it would be a big deal. Or Avengers Campus? One can only imagine. No? You've never been to Avengers Campus.
It's making me uncomfortable. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air. Are you there?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Shon, and good morning to your gold.
Hi, good morning.
Just a quick comment on the text before I make a little quick point. The text we was talking about with the incident with the young man and the young lady. If what he is saying is true, he should still be found guilty of at least false pretenses.
Because he was soliciting or he was procuring a prostitute?
Didn't he say at the end he didn't have what he said he promised?
So for being a liar, that's what you want?
No, I mean, Mr. Strachan, I'm only talking human to human. I'm only talking, it's still a crime to mislead people, right? I mean, it should be a crime. You shouldn't be able to go around just lying to people and get, because, it doesn't have to be that type of act that someone can promise you something and don't give it to you when you complete the job, right? It doesn't have to
that would set a precedent. We'd have to put at least half the country in jail.
Would that be fraud?
But Mr. Strachan, I'm only saying, come on, I guess you understand the point. But Mr. Strachan, when you were reading the headlines and the stories and different things, did I hear you say that America is getting set to send mercenaries to Haiti?
A company, yes, a U.S. company, apparently. Basically.
Well, and I heard something about, but the individual had something to do with Blackwater. I can remember Blackwater. I think it was in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And they cut a movie in the middle of the city. You know what I mean? So it seems as if they're gonna be, because I saw them saying something about they have some type of $5 million reward or something for barbecue and all type of different things. So come like they're about to heat up things in Haiti now. But my point is, my question is, the people of Haiti still want a democratically elected leader. You know what I mean? They still want the terms that were agreed to years ago to be fulfilled, but it seems as if America and other nations just want to keep have a president or a leader there for a couple of months. And they've been through multiple leaders since they were supposed to have already had some type of democratically election. But it seems as if they are being denied the process of a democratically election because other countries and other people don't want them to have a leader that they choose of their own, but they want to put in place an environment where they can put whoever there in Haiti to do whatever they want, and so the people don't say nothing. I think that's a bunch of foolishness.
Why does it seem like that to you? Well, that's why do you get that impression?
But why else? Why else would they? We know that Haiti is heavily influenced by outside. Outside countries like by so-called superpowers and first world countries, right? We know that
as are we all.
Mm-hmm. I didn't hear you.
We all are. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I think it's only fair, Mr. Strachan, that if you have a process already put in place where by law you're supposed to have this occur elections or within a certain amount of time.
They couldn't possibly have elections right now.
I didn't hear you.
You know they couldn't possibly have elections anytime soon, not with what's going on.
The reason why they are having the problems they're having now, Mr. Strachan, is because the process of electing a democratically elected leader was not upheld. That's the whole reason for barbecue there, Mr. Strachan. That's the whole reason for it, is because they have been denied the process to democratically elect.
I don't think that's quite accurate.
Yeah, I think you're a bit confused on the timeline there.
No. You go
things went a little chaotic after the leader was assassinated, and there's been a struggle for power.
After the leader was assassinated, there was a time they put someone in place temporarily, right? And then after a few months or whatever, they were supposed to have had a general election, like a democratic election, but they put it off. They keep putting it off, and they keep putting it off. And
because things were spiraling out of control. Well,
I didn't hear you.
Things were spiraling out of control, and there were corruption claims.
What I'm saying, Mr. Stone, is like, I'm going to use the word you guess used. That still does not negate the fact that they were refused the elections, and that is what caused them to rebel after the president was assassinated, and they put a leader in place, right? And a temporary leader, and he was only supposed to have been there for a certain time, and he stayed there probably for about a year or two more than he was supposed to have even been there. And since him, there's been multiple leaders who has taken a shot for a couple of months. Now, all I'm saying is that if the people are being denied a democratically elected leader, right? I mean, in America, be talking about democracy. America loves to talk about democracy. Why doesn't America see to it that Haiti has a fair democratic process in electing the leader and stop frustrating the people?
You're not correct about this. We got to stop you. It's not exactly what's going on there.
I just wanted to find out who, from his standpoint, who do he think is behind the lack of this process? Is he trying to insinuate that America has prevented this process from transpiring the way it should? Is that his assumption?
And others, he seems to be saying. But in any event, I'm sure everybody would love to have an election, but you can't do that when gangs have taken over huge portions of the country. Everybody would love to have that.
And not just huge portions of the country, because there's still portions of Haiti that is operating okay. But in the capital city, there's multiple gangs taking over multiple territories. So that's why I wanted to figure out who he was insinuating has prevented this process from transpiring the way it should.
And everybody who is appointed is distrusted by certain factions, and so that's causing all kinds of other issues. You're making it sound like it's intentional. I mean, it might be, but there's no way they could hold an election when there's chaos like that. So again, we don't know if this group is going to make a difference, but that's according to the reports that the Associated Press is getting.
And was he trying to say that the U.S. government is behind the Blackwater Group?
It's an American group.
It is,
so we don't know if it's the U.S. government behind it, but stranger things have happened.
I think when you say it like that, that's insinuating that the government is behind it. But Blackwater has been operating throughout the world without the U.S. backing. So.
Well, according to the report, for that to happen in Haiti, the U.S. would need to give some support because of certain things they have going on. But in any event,
we've had other mercenary groups in Haiti without the U.S. backing.
Sure, they might not have the same type of arrangements. But in any event, there's a long way to go before there is stability and order, if there ever was, restored. And I'm sure lots of people are pulling strings, but there's nothing they can do right now. You definitely couldn't even talk about elections anytime soon, not with the way things are going at the moment. Wow. Okay. This texter says, well, let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
And to your co-host, pleasant good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
The previous caller, some of it may have sounded a little bit radical and different, but from the 19-teens and even before that, gentlemen, several major countries, primarily the French, but the U.S. went, and this is not anti-American anything, but we have to speak truth, went into Haiti, sugarcane, coffee, indigo, industries, for years, even the French organizing, supporting the destabilization of certain countries. And I think maybe it's easier for us to ignore, like we do, and bury our heads in the sand, the impact, even today, that certain countries like the Brits have in our daily dealings. We like to pretend like certain things do not exist. Our laws do not become laws unless a governor general, the Bahamian people, elect leaders, and we hand it right back over to the signature of the King of England. You were talking about crime yesterday, and the Privy Council, and where our final court of appeal is, one of the talk shows on your station. We cannot continue to ignore that it is not in the interest of major countries. The Columbus that founded the Bahamas, allegedly, the French, the Brits, their agenda does not support countries like ours that do possess power, that do possess natural resources, to be stable and to come together and organize and do the things that we need to do to be successful. We cannot continue to ignore that and have real conversations. Some of it was a little bit outlandish, but the outright dismissal, what it sounded like, and no disrespect, Dwight.
No, not dismissing outright, but I'm saying that that's happening everywhere.
Continue, but it's impacting. We're all upset about crime right now. We're all upset about all these things. The statelessness, it appears, and let me bring this home, sorry, and it sounds like I'm rambling, but I'm so sorry. We're supposed to be a sovereign country, in a position to make decisions about Article 7, referendums, all of these are the things. But when it comes to the very nature, the heart of what happens, crime, we do not have the final say-so on how to address the worst of the worst, or even if we decide on who the worst of the worst is, and somebody appeals to another jurisdiction, where people that live and have no idea about our daily lives and functions here, we hand it over again.
Yeah, well, that's not, you can't blame them for that, though. You have to blame our people for that, right? Because you could change that immediately.
Which to a point, but if we're speaking truth and the entirety of the truth, then we start to list some things on the paper, identify them for what they are, and if we are going to be to benefit us, our Haitian brothers, whoever it is that's going to benefit, we need to really, really address what's happening and not just outright ignore that major countries, it's not in our best interest to organize and to do what we need to do and take advantage and make our own decisions. But that's just my point. Thanks for allowing me to contribute.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. We can't blame them for that.
I was just about to say, I don't understand this mindset of just absolving us of the ability to make these changes. I don't get that portion of it. It's similar in the conversation with Haiti. It's not to say that there's not been interference at this point. There has been interference at this point, but there still exists a process, or it still exists an opportunity to make the necessary changes. The people in Haiti have just not rallied around. I'm not saying that there is not interference, but the people of Haiti have not rallied around the idea that we ourselves can improve our society. Similar is the case here in the Bahamas on a lot of those issues. He talked about being able to go to a higher court in a foreign land. We could make that change tomorrow. We made that decision. Yeah. We could walk on this building right now, assemble in Rawson Square, and demand that change. We have the ability as people of this society to do that.
The Governor General is a figurehead. Talk about being controlled. That's what that position is.
I wonder if we ever say to ourselves as people, like, hey, our laws allow us to change these things. Like, we could vote, we could determine our own future. Like, I don't get that mindset. Where does that come from?
Because you allow people to say, well, I can't do anything about that. That's just the way it is. That's the Constitution. That's this. We'd have to do this. So don't look at me. I didn't do this. That makes people feel better. It helps them to sleep better at night. I cannot accept all responsibility for the crap that's happening.
The Prime Minister has the authority right now to declare a moratorium on anybody that falls under the guise of Article 7. We could right thereafter have a referendum to make whatever necessary changes to that. I guess.
Pass the buck. That's what we do. We got to take a break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
What keeps the planet spinning? The force from the beginning. Look. We've come too far to give up who we are. So let's raise the bar and our cups to the stars. She's up all night sweet song. She's up all night for good fun. I'm up all night to get
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app with your smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now to 8:22, it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Here's what's happening in your weather for today and into the weekend. We've got another heat warning in effect for the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. In fact, the Southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos will experience a severe heat wave with feel-like temperatures ranging between 112 Fahrenheit and 122 Fahrenheit. While the remainder of the Bahamas will experience feel-like temperatures between 102 Fahrenheit and 111 Fahrenheit, and that will continue for the next 3 to 5 days. So the dominating high-pressure system continues to support a gentle to moderate breeze across the country, while a surface trough in the central Bahamas will introduce a moist, unstable air mass drifting north through tonight. So we're monitoring Tropical Storm Erin. We'll have more on that in just a moment. And that's likely to impact weather in the Bahamas late weekend and definitely for the start of next week. But for today, again, the UV and heat index, not going to be a pleasant day to be outside. If you can limit outdoor activities, that will be suggested and recommended highly. And light-colored clothing, sunglasses, sunscreen, as UV and heat indices are expected to be in the extreme range. So for today, for most areas, partly to mostly sunny, becoming cloudy tonight for the extreme northern islands. Fair for the rest of the northwest Bahamas and the southeast Bahamas. But for the central islands, partly cloudy to cloudy today with a 40 to 60% chance of widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Only about a 10 to 20% chance for the rest of the country. High temperatures across the board, though, will be high, around 94 Fahrenheit, 34 Celsius, with the heat index making it feel that it's as hot as 112 Fahrenheit, 44 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 78 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. In your extended outlook for your weekend, Saturday, tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds across the northern and northwest Bahamas, partly sunny for the central and southeastern islands, a 20 to 30% chance of showers for the northern and northwestern Bahamas. By Sunday, for the northwest and northern Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds again during the day, becoming partly cloudy at night, partly cloudy to cloudy through the night for the central and southeast Bahamas. And Monday, partly sunny during the day, fair at night for the northern and northwest Bahamas, but partly cloudy to cloudy for the central and southeast islands, and partly cloudy for Tuesday across all areas. So again, we are watching the tropics. There is in the Gulf a a disturbance located over the western Gulf of Mexico that could become a short-lived tropical depression before it moves inland over northeastern Mexico or southern Texas by later today. Formation chance is medium, about 50%. But all eyes on Erin, which is likely to become a hurricane today and a major hurricane by the end of the weekend. So dangerous marine conditions are likely on Atlantic waters and Atlantic exposed waters throughout the Bahamas this weekend into the middle of next week. Erin is presently about 1,000 miles east-southeast of Abrams Bay in Mayaguana, 1,174 miles southeast of Coburn Town in San Salvador, and 1,354 miles southeast of Marsh Harbor in Abaco. Erin, still a tropical storm right now, is moving towards the west-northwest near 17 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour with higher gusts. Strengthening is forecast, and Erin is expected to become a hurricane today, and again a major hurricane this weekend. On the forecast track, Erin is expected to stay east of the Bahamas as a major hurricane beginning Sunday through Tuesday night, and then northeast of the northwest Bahamas on Wednesday. However, due to Erin's distance from the Bahamas, track changes are likely, and we will need to continue monitoring the system. And because of its proximity, the impacts from Erin still uncertain, but we can expect large ocean swells, dangerous waves and surfs, and life-threatening rip currents across all Atlantic exposures, including the passages, bites, cuts in the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands beginning early Sunday, and the central Bahamas on Sunday evening, and the northwest Bahamas and the northern Bahamas on Monday. Again, this is expected to continue through to midweek. Mariners and coastal residents are advised to take all necessary precautions right now and to closely monitor the system over the next few days. We'll keep you posted here on the Guardian News Network. That is your Morning Blend Weather Check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Looking to paint? Well, your local Sherwin-Williams store has top-quality paints, expert advice, and everyday discounts to help you save only at Sherwin-Williams. And we've got to look at traffic on this Friday morning, brought to you by RBC. With RBC, your ideas happen here. Some schools are opening on Monday, so you're likely to see heavier traffic come Monday. This is likely your final good day of leaving when you want to in the mornings. But right now, we are seeing some heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway from just north of the Fire Trail roundabout as you approach Harold Pond to the east of you. If you're heading northbound to the roundabout with Tawnick-Williams-Darling Highway, traffic is backed up along Tawnick-Williams-Darling Highway as well, westbound to that roundabout. Elsewhere, we've got East Street just north of Soldier Road, some slow-moving northbound traffic as you approach the roundabout with East-West Highway, and pockets along Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections like Beatrice Avenue, and as you get closer to Soldier Road, Robinson near Old Trail as well, seeing some slow-moving traffic at that intersection. That is your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you also by NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. Whether you prefer a face-to-face chat or handling things online, they've got you covered. Visit NUAinsurance.com for an instant motor quote or stop by your nearest branch. And NUA with a big event happening this weekend, reminding you that tomorrow is the big day. NUA Insurance will be popping up at the Mall Marathon for back to school for 2 hours only, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Want to know if you're covered for hurricane season? Confused about car insurance coverage options? Wondering how NUA's online portal can save you every month? Ask NUA in person. Try out the portal, and while you're there, take home some free NUA gifts. NUA, making insurance make sense. Tomorrow at the Mall Marathon, just ask NUA.
Things may be tough, but Wendy's got got you covered. Grab a day single or chicken sandwich with a junior fries and 16-ounce beverage for just $6.95. Why choose less from the other guys when you can get more? At Wendy's, we're providing bigger bites and better deals. So purchase your Tings Tough Value Meal today. Now available at all locations excluding the airport and food truck.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Looking for your dream job in paradise? At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, we're hiring. And with over 200 positions available, we're confident you'll find your perfect fit. Whether you're passionate about keeping guests safe as a lifeguard, or if mixing up refreshing cocktails as a bartender is more your speed, there's a spot waiting just for you. Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career to explore openings and apply today.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Ricardo Wells on this Friday morning. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be talking about the Caribbean Volleyball Championships going on right here in Nassau. And later in business, it's our Safe and Sound series. We're talking about the ripple effect of crime on business continuity. That's coming up. Really quickly, though, I want to get to this other story in the Tribune. Taxi union will consider action. So apparently the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union will meet with the Trade Union Congress on Monday to decide on possible action against livery drivers operating illegally in restricted areas. This has been a long-standing problem. The meeting follows months-long concerns over the group's practices as well as government and hotel properties, which they claim are undermining taxi drivers' livelihood. BTCU President Tyrone Butler told the Tribune yesterday that workers are frustrated and fed up with the lack of action, saying, quote, "We would take our cue from our leader, who is Mr. Ferguson. Our issues are still the same. We have an issue with livery drivers and with the government and with various stakeholders." Butler accusing livery drivers of breaking the law by soliciting customers in areas reserved for taxis, blaming properties like Atlantis, which we've been talking about all morning, Nassau Cruise Port, Margaritaville, and the Nassau Airport Development Company for enabling the practice. He just ran them over with his taxi. That's a lot. Taxi drivers are also concerned about the government issuing more than 800 new taxi plates and 300 to 400 livery plates without expanding the transportation market. What now? Saying the oversaturation has hurt their earnings. Weren't they very happy about
this is why I keep saying we bury the leads in such weird ways. Shouldn't that be the lead? Repeat the numbers.
Without who expanding the transportation market? The government?
Yeah, because apparently they have to be permitted to go into certain communities. But read the number again. Read the number again.
But I thought they were celebrating when this happened. 800. 800? But I can't get a taxi to save my life.
And then an additional 300 to 400.
300 to 400 livery plates
Okay.
without expanding the transportation market. So what does that mean?
So who determined?
What does the expanded transportation market mean? Like putting more people, having more babies? What does that mean?
Allowing them to operate in the community.
Who's stopping them?
Apparently the system. The
man? The man.
The imaginary system we talked about earlier.
Okay. Oh, boy. Another frustration, he said, is the persistence of illegal rideshare operators or hackers, despite government confirmation that such services using private vehicles are banned. Making matters worse is the alleged lack of cooperation from Transport Minister JoBeth Colby Davis.
This is why I go, okay.
But she was their hero a few years ago. He said, quote, she represents the government, but the government is part of the bigger problem that we are experiencing. She's a willing participant in our dilemma. The government is responsible for the state of the transportation industry. They create the monster. Well, okay.
This can't be real life.
This is really just unbelievable. In a letter yesterday, TUC President Obie Ferguson urged all affiliate unions to attend Monday's meeting in support of the BTCU, which recently rejoined the TUC after severing ties with the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress.
Okay, see, I have to pause it there. This is why I keep telling people we play politics with the strangest things possible. Mm-hmm. That explains to you everything that is going on with these claims.
Which part?
The portion of they recently severed ties with one union, joined the TUC, who's been at odds with the government on every single detail. Over. And this is not me being pro-PLP or anti-FNM or any of that discussion. This is me just pointing out the obvious. You sever ties with your original trade union, your original umbrella union.
Not really original. They've gone back to the original, but the more recent.
They left the TUC at one point, joined the new umbrella union, and now they're back. And immediately after their return to the TUC, what is the claim? That the minister is not supporting their endeavors. Okay, sure.
Well, Butler said that the BNA TUC's link to the Livery Drivers Association, a direct industry rival, was unacceptable at a time when taxi drivers are already facing competition from livery franchises, unregulated rideshare operators, and a surge in new plates. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure some tourists are using the rideshare folks.
Not 800. Not 800.
But most of the folks using the rideshare are regular Bahamians, right? Because they can't get a taxi or can't afford a taxi. And you would think that would be a huge, as we put it, part of the transportation market that was expanding because a lot of people can't afford a car and would rather catch rides, even if they have to pay for it.
Say I could get in trouble
but the taxis don't want to do that.
Say I get in trouble with my texting friend again because he could probably text back and say I should stick to sports one more time. Explain to me where this new 800 plus 300 to 400 is anywhere between 11 and 1200. Where do we have 11 or 1200 operators out there in the market right now?
Parked in front of hotels and the airport.
Okay. All right. And is there enough business? So you're saying the market is oversaturated, but you're not commenting on what the market has to offer to date. The majority of interest, whether you want to serve them or not, is over the hill. Those communities are active. Those communities need your service, but you refuse to provide service in those areas.
No.
But your criticism of the group that opted to provide service to those areas is the fact that they're now taking away business that you did not want to service to start with.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Because they're working.
This is crazy.
But your taxi's parked.
This is okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
How do I go about signing up for somebody's plates that they give it up?
Let's take a call really quickly. We don't have much time on this, but this is definitely something we need a whole show on this. Oh, my goodness gracious. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? No? Call us back. 323-6232. Really quickly. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free. 242-300-5720. This texter says, they don't want our local pennies, Dwight. But they're mad that people do. Other people do. It's very bizarre. Caller, what say you on this?
Good morning.
Hi.
Okay, I'm not going to speak to the issue of the taxi and delivery driver. I am a public service driver. That is a long outstanding issue that needs to be cleared up. But anyway, let me share something with you. You want to see something? Go to that airport on Tuesday. All right, when the inter-Caribbean flight comes in from Haiti, or whatever flight comes in from Haiti, nobody touches those Haitians. They come out there, they have their SD vehicles in the parking lot. They have at least 20 Haitians coming out there, speaking Creole, and collect all the fare. They gather in the corner, and they have their own people soliciting monies from them to transport them uptown. Those people charge them $20 per head. No one, not the taxi union president, has addressed it. No one seems to want to touch this issue. We're speaking about that. Let's speak about the people who have these Airbnbs, who are making arrangements online to pick up their guests, even sometimes give them SD cards with private plates to rent as a package deal.
So who is it? Is it a livery company? Who are you saying it is? Who's doing that?
What I'm saying to you is you have persons who own Airbnbs, okay? And in their Airbnb package, they say we will pick you up from the airport. That's a fare. All right? Sometimes they allow these people to drive these cars, SD cars. Right? I'm telling you what I know because I'm a driver. Challenges, the taxi and delivery is a joke. We have so many people out there coming out there in private plates. There are persons who are driving, who have livery plates. They use the government system because once you bring a vehicle in this island and it's under 3 years old and you have a livery plate, you are given an exemption. Those people don't even have a public service badge. So why would you have a plate if you're not a public service driver? And when you stop them, this isn't for livery. This isn't for hire. I just did it because I don't want to pay the government taxes. You see the cracks in the system? Nobody wants to touch these things. Who are giving these livery plates out to people who do not have a public service
That's
badge?
crazy. Wow. Okay, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. That is some wild stuff.
400 licenses.
My goodness
I just need
gracious.
to know who I need to call to get to.
Wow. Let's take this final call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good, you, sir.
Hi.
And your guest.
Good day.
I'd like to remind you, please, to post the information about Mr. Deal's son-in-law.
Oh, yes. That should be up in just a bit.
Please, could you say a little more about his delivery plate so that I, as an informed citizen, I can recognize it on the road? What it looks like?
I think it's white with like red.
Is it that one?
Yeah.
Is it the black one? No, that's
that's well.
It says livery on it, right? But I don't remember the colors. But
so it's supposed to be what? Something that is part of the tourism. It's part of the taxi. It's something like a taxi, or what was it?
It
what
is
it?
supposed
that's like the tour
offer.
companies,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Somebody says we're very uninformed about what's happening. Well, enlighten us, Texter. That's all you just... Okay. We're telling you how we feel as citizens, as people who live here, and how challenging it is to get around if you don't have a vehicle. You cannot rely on a taxi. They're overpriced, and they are not interested. They're not interested at all if you want to go from your home to somewhere else that's not the airport or a hotel. And everybody has experienced that. And I cannot understand how taxi drivers can be complaining about expanding the transportation market when there's thousands of opportunities here for them.
Because everybody wants to be in the same
no
market.
sense. And mad, as Ricardo said, at the other people who have seen where there is opportunity. It's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, we got to take a break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is.
It's sure winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah, we also have airbrush paint. I didn't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil shrimp,
clays.
stew shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Print Masters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
As a healthcare professional, you dedicate your life to caring for others. But even with the best care, legal challenges can arise. Protect your practice and your peace of mind with medical malpractice insurance from Star General. At Star General, we've partnered with Lloyd's of London to bring you comprehensive professional liability insurance designed specifically for those consulting or practicing privately. Visit our website today so you can focus on what you do best, caring for your patients, while we take care of the rest. Star General, insurance made simple.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always the first step to overcoming. For every heart in the world, see how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Get ready to catch the thrill and win with Shell. Fuel up with $20 or more and unlock your shot at unforgettable prizes.
We're talking regatta trips to Exuma and Harbor Island.
Free fuel, grocery vouchers, water park passes, and more. Just snap your receipt and WhatsApp it to us at 242-422-0271. The vibes are high, the prizes are hot, and the summer is yours to win with Shell. Only at participating Shell stations in Nassau. Now through August 22nd. Terms and conditions apply.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh,
man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
My Bahamas! Let's go! Look at the Bahamas, tell me what you see. A beautiful sunshine sparkling in the sea. A country blessed through all its history. We pause to celebrate our golden jubilee. A nation built on hospitality. Our culture, our people, one legacy. Bahamas, oh Bahamas. Bahamas, oh my Bahamas. Bahamas, oh Bahamas. Bahamas, oh my Bahamas. I went to one just yesterday.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Ricardo Wells. And changing gears now, the Caribbean Volleyball Championships getting underway today and tomorrow. It's already underway.
I think you started yesterday.
Tomorrow. Hey, time is flying. And it's an exciting time right here in Nassau. And here to tell us all about this, we're very pleased to have with us President of the Bahamas Volleyball Federation, Kurtwood Green. We have National Team Captain Shonari Hepburn, Women's Captain Raechel Knowles, and the President of Kazova, Mushtaq Mohammed. Good morning. Great to have everybody with us.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here in Bahamas.
We are happy to have you here. Okay, so Kurtwood Green, tell us about this and what this means to the Bahamas Volleyball Federation to be hosting it. Talk right into that mic there for us.
Sure. Good morning, Bahamas, and thank you, Dwight. We are extremely excited about the Bahamas Volleyball, especially at this level of play. It's a very tough level in the region, and we're looking forward to great things. We are hosting this in conjunction with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, and we are very grateful to them for assisting us in this event. So again, we're looking for an excellent tournament.
Mm-hmm. Have we ever hosted it before?
We have hosted almost 2 decades ago. Okay. 2006 was our last hosting.
All right, so we're overdue.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Okay. All right, so Mushtaq Mohammed, tell us about this, how important this is, and about Kazova in general.
Well, Kazova is a group of Caribbean nations that come together and form part of the NORCICA, North Central American Caribbean Confederation. Mm-hmm. The confederation is divided into 4, and Kazova is one of the zones. We have 14 members, Bahamas is one. So this tournament, yes, it's, as talking to Shonari and Raechel earlier on, the excitement of a Caribbean event is, as we have said, is like the Olympics for the volleyball in the Caribbean.
Wow.
And it brings together these athletes in terms of the camaraderie, the rivalry, the spirit of being together, and great sportsmanship is exhumed on the court and around the court and outside the court in terms of the games village, which is going to be at the hotel. Mm-hmm. So yes, it really brings together the excitement that we expect and the professionalism in terms of the athletes like Shonari and the others who have been playing professional, the audience, the local people, and the Caribbean, because they're going to be streamed, will be able to see our own athletes on the court.
Wonderful. Okay, so who's taking part? On the men's side and the women's side, which countries are we talking about?
Well, for the men's side, we have 7 countries, and the women, we have 6. In terms of the Curaçao is the only country that is playing with men only, but the other 6, in terms of men and women, is of course Bahamas, the host, Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, Jamaica, Barbados, Guadeloupe, and those are the other 6.
Okay, all right. So how big, everybody can jump in here, how big is volleyball in this region?
Let the athletes speak about it.
Yeah. Raechel, you want to start us off?
Sure. Volleyball is very big in the Caribbean. As the years have progressed, we've seen a lot more Caribbean athletes become professional athletes overseas. And it has definitely grown since I've started. We have a lot of kids now going off to school and realizing that they can play volleyball in college, especially in the States. So watching that bridge become accessible to everybody has really been very encouraging. So yeah, I'd say it's very, very big.
Yeah. And when did you start? Tell us about your volleyball journey.
I started playing volleyball when I was 16, and it was very, very interesting to see that, you know, your reaction time and your body can change after practicing, and then noticing the different levels of volleyball, because I started on concrete. So to go from concrete to a gym to playing in college and now being able to represent my country has been a journey I never thought was going to happen. So to see it happen and then constantly happening, it's like, okay, I'm here.
You said you started at 16?
Yes.
That's kind of late, though, right?
Very late. That's pretty late. Yeah. So unfortunately, in the Bahamas, especially when I was growing up, it seemed as though no one was really starting any time before that.
Oh.
So it really came with a lot of athleticism and just natural ability to be able to get to that level so quickly, because by 16, people are already looking at schools and trying to figure out where they're going to go, especially athletes. So, and at that time, I was switching sports. I started with track and field, and So I started with track and field, and I got a really bad injury, and I switched over to volleyball more so to rehab and kind of escape the track and field scene. And 2 years later, I was looking at schools. So it was...
So you're gifted, basically.
I mean, you know, I would think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot. It was a lot to happen in those 2 years. But it definitely changed my life, I will say that.
Wow.
Volleyball changed my life for sure.
Wow. And what about you, Shonari? You started a little earlier, I take it?
No.
No.
I started playing
around the same time.
Yeah, but that's the story of volleyball.
Oh,
now.
my goodness. We will get back to you on what's going on.
I started playing. I started playing in 12th grade. I actually played for fun because I was about to graduate high school. So I was like, let me just say I played every sport. And then playing volleyball in high school was when I was approached by Margaret Albury to come out
Maggie.
and
she was also my coach.
Okay. Come out and try out for the junior national team, and just never look back after. I used to play baseball before playing, and even when she approached me, I was like, I don't want to play no volleyball. I play baseball, you know what I mean? I was like, you know what, let me just go as a chance to try and represent the country, something that I'd never done before. And then, I went to Jamaica in 2011, and I just never looked back.
Wow.
Now you're a professional.
And now I'm a professional volleyball player.
My goodness. All right. So Kurt Green, what's going on? Do we not have little youngsters playing volleyball, or they all discover it later?
For the most part, in our school systems, I don't think we've been doing a good job as far as the development, especially from the primary school level. And that's something that we definitely want to improve on. You know, it depends, I think, on the school, first of all, and then the support. For example, for me personally, working with Montcalm when they were in the Palmdale area, we started a program in the primary school, and those students were able to excel and go on the national team and eventually play college. So it depends on that combination, but we have, as a federation, need to have a holistic approach from, like I said, the development starting with the primary school levels, and of course not only on New Providence but the entire Family Islands.
Right.
So that is definitely something that we have to look at. For the most part, what we discovered is that the guys early on, they don't see necessarily the value in volleyball. Most of them are into the basketball and track.
Yeah.
Well, what happens though is that when they see volleyball play at a different level, which is a higher level, then there's a level of excitement. With the females, somewhat similar. And the way I used to recruit them, if I can identify a student in the school area who's athletic, I would bring them on board, and then I encourage them to bring friends on board. And then create an excitement around not only the practice and the training, but the games themselves. So it's a holistic approach to the development of volleyball.
Nice. Mustafa, you seen that in other parts of the region?
Yes, it's something that we have recognized, that the athletes, generally when you're looking at athlete development, we advise, I'm from the University of Trinidad Tobago, and kinesiology department. And we advise that specialization should not take place before 12 years.
Okay.
And even if you could go up to 14, because then the kids they're learning movements. They're learning how to do strength and coordination and flexibility and all of that other thing. So you get a kid to play a special sport, you are restricting the kid because he's going to be specializing in that particular sport, and then there will not going to be total physical development.
Right. Okay.
What Raechel has said is amazing, because you could transition from sport to sport, and that athlete lost his volleyball game in this case. So athletic loss was volleyball game. But the thing about it is that we have seen athletes transition from sport to sport because they were exposed to the general holistic development of the physical preparation of an athlete. And then you find athletes maximize their capabilities, because then they know that, look, I love this one.
Wow.
Then they know that this is what I want to get involved in.
Yeah.
So I do not advise specialization too early. So within the Caribbean, what we have done, and we have did for the first time this year, we have an under 17 category, which 16 years and old kids played in Jamaica. And you said Jamaica just 2 weeks ago. So that is pushing the National Federation to think deeper, recruit their athletes at an earlier age. Therefore, you can have more transition.
Right.
Raechel is a model in terms of, well, not only in terms of how she looks, but in terms of what she's able to do for Bahamas and for being an athlete. Because within the American system of education, they have over 10,000 scholarship offerings. Within the Caribbean, and all of the countries in the Caribbean, Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, Bahamas, we probably have over 150 to 200 female athletes under scholarship.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity through sport. There's an opportunity through sport for education and for maximizing your ability.
Yeah.
So this is where we are in terms of the volleyball and promoting the Caribbean brand of volleyball. And of course, this is volleyball, but we also have beach volleyball.
Yes.
Talk about that next sometime.
Oh yeah, we've had them on the show quite a bit.
I love the way he termed it, the development. I have to ask, what has been the biggest drawback in getting volleyball to actually explode in the high school space? I know we've struggled for quite some time to develop programs here at our high school. What is one of the biggest drawbacks?
I think support, for example, when it comes to the coaches, they need to be certified.
Right.
I know some of them are, but they need recertification. Then what we find is that there's not enough time placed in practicing and training at the school levels. One of the other issues we're facing is that there's separation in the various school associations, not necessarily playing together, but when they play, so that we can, for example, have a proper nationals. We have school associations that play at different times of the year. So if we identify when a national is going to happen, then that team, for example, that may have won in that individual school association is not the same team that will play in the nationals.
Can you be specific on the time frames? Because I know a lot of people would hear that and say, well, when does volleyball take place in the private schools as opposed to the public schools? Just talk about that schedule.
Sure. So there are 3 major school associations on the island of New Providence. Grand Bahama and the other islands are kind of different, and they're more together. So you have GSSSA, which is the public school system. They start volleyball in September. You have BAISS, which starts about March, April, in that area. Now, there's another school association, the Bahamas Scholastic Athletic School Association, which is also known as the Small Schools Association. We have been, and I say we have because I'm intimately involved with that association, we have been able to move our calendar to suit the nationals. We approached maybe in 2011, asking about starting the nationals. So what we end up doing, instead of having ours in March when gym time was available and that sort of thing, we move our association playing time in September to coincide with the nationals, which is scheduled for November. So by the time, championships are done, we play in November. But the disadvantage to that for us as a small schools is that there's no gym time. And volleyball should be played in the gymnasium. Because what happens is as you move up in levels, you have individuals that don't know how to, what we call hit the ground, hit the floor, roll and dive, because that's all part of volleyball. Exactly. So there's a major disadvantage of it. And like I indicated,
that was
with
definitely
BAISS, when they have their championship, let's say, for example, Big Red Machine would have won their championship. Most of their students would have been, say, grade 11 and 12. graduated in May, so now the nationals are in November. That's not the same team.
Yeah.
So there's a disconnect, and we have to get that together.
And have you had the communications with the Department of Sports and the ministry?
Absolutely, and you know, there's been some changes, but that's a matter of fact is a conversation that we're having on a regular basis, on a side, but they are aware of the issues, and we're working towards trying to resolve them.
Yeah.
But it takes all of the school associations to come together and decide when are we going to have it and how it's going to be done. So we really want to know the best athletes in the country at the same time.
Right, and finally for me, talk about how critical that is to develop athletes like Raechel, develop athletes to get them to the next level, to ensure that once we have programs like the Caribbean Championship, that we have the best national team out there.
Perfect. For example, from the school's standpoint, you may have won in your individual associations. Now you know that because you've won, you move to another level where you're playing the best athletes in the country. Same thing now with the Caribbean Volleyball Association. What we're going on now. Once we win, we then move on to NORSECA level.
Right.
Okay, so that's the
U.S., Canada, Cuba.
Absolutely, we play at a higher level. So there's a level of excitement there, but not just playing once and then you're done, and then years later you're in the wilderness. We want to be able to sustain the constant playing at that high level. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about the championships. Fully gets underway tomorrow, right? What can we expect? What's going to be happening, and how is this set up?
Well, we have, in terms of the 7 teams in the men and 6 teams in the women, we have 2 groups in each category. 1 group with 4 and 1 group with 3 in the men, and 2 groups of 3 in the women. We have a preliminary rounds, and then we go to the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. What I want to say here is that the champion team wins to go to the NORSECA level, as Green said, but we give a support of $15,000 towards the air ticket to go.
Wow.
So it's 12 athletes and 3 officials, average $1,000 a ticket.
person.
And the next women's championship is going to be in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. The men's championship is going to be in Canada. And that championship is the qualifier for the world championships. So win here, you go there, and you're into the big time.
Wow.
That's it. And so that's the format of the tournament. The open game is going to be Saturday with Jamaica versus Bahamas men, and a small open ceremony. And then after that, all the preliminary games finish. Quarterfinal starts on Thursday, semifinal on Friday, and finals on Saturday.
Yeah. All right. So where can people see the schedule?
Yes, you have the schedule. The schedule is published already. Yeah, we have it.
And that's going to be available. You can look at it on.
I think I'm not too familiar with the actual website, but once you Google Caribbean Volleyball Championship Bahamas, you'll be able to see, and you should be able to purchase tickets online as well. At this stage, I would say you can also, I think maybe better to purchase tickets at the post office box in front of Secondal Geologics Gymnasium.
Okay.
Yes. Breakdown of both schedules for men and women can be found on Facebook or Instagram.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. And how much are tickets?
I believe that the morning sessions
$10, and the evening sessions are $15.
Yes.
Okay.
And the kids.
And kids are cheaper.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Definitely like to take the time to, again, as I indicated, thank the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, and in particular the Minister Mario Bolag and Kelsey Johnson Sills. And the reason is that when this idea first was established and we had meetings, for me personally, I had no doubt that they wanted this to happen and they were going to do their best to see it through. So I definitely would like to thank them for their efforts. I thank the local LOC, which is headed by Raechel Knowles, who I think most of us know in the sporting community. And we're definitely looking forward to an excellent tournament.
Yep. And it won't be 20 years before it's back here, right?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, you'll see a lot more beach volleyball activity as well.
Okay.
Let me just add some history here. 1994, the Curaçao zone was born right here.
Wow.
In Bahamas. 1994, we adopted the first constitution in those games.
Excellent.
2006 and now 2025.
Okay.
So that is part of the history of where Bahamas has been. I must say, on behalf of the teams who are participating, what I've seen so far, the inspection, the organization, it's going to be a model that the other Caribbean countries will be difficult to emulate.
Oh, wow. So you should have here every year.
Well, we're willing to if you will. But I must say that I am so pleased with the level of organization, with what has taken place, the support from the government. Of course, your country is about tourism, but this is sports tourism, right? So it's another niche that you are doing great in it. And so I could understand why the level is such a great level. Yeah. I will really want to see what happens next with our next host being able to emulate the standard that we have, that you guys are putting out. So compliments to the organizing committee, the government, the teams, everybody, general public. Don't miss out.
Yeah, you've got to show
You
up.
have
for
the
this.
best on your shows. Come and see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Location?
Secondal GL Isaacs Gymnasium.
All right. So Shonari, Raechel, Team Bahamas, we got this, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. One of my teammates said to let everybody know to expect double goal. So no pressure.
Okay.
All right.
We believe it. Shonari Hepburn, Raechel Knowles, Kurtwood Green, and Mushtaq Mohammed, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Yes,
Looking
that
forward
was
to
a pleasure. Thank
a
you.
great weekend. Thanks again. All right, we're going to break for news and then be back with business. Stay with us here, Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Many islands to pick and choose. You may fly or take a cruise. I'll take you to Nassau, the capital. Watch a Junkanoo festival. Then to Gad Island, eat flour cake. Watch quadrille dancing to the rake and scrape. Ooh. My Bahamas, the place to be. Through the islands and the keys. Soothing Bahamian breeze. My Bahamas, the place to be. From Long Island to the Exuma Keys. Wildlife in Inagua, you will see. Maguana Acklands, San Salvador, the Berry Islands you will adore.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, August 15th, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Ricardo Wells, and it's time for monthly series Safe and Sound with Gamal Nuri with the preventative measures. And this morning we are talking about the ripple effect of crime on business sustainability. Gamal Nuri, good morning. Great to have you with us.
Morning, Bahamas. Hope everybody is well.
Yep, indeed. Okay, so we've been talking about crime quite a lot, especially after last weekend. Multiple shootings, a number of people killed throughout the week as well. It is definitely a very sad time, but we can imagine the impact this is having on businesses throughout the country. Let's get into it and why this topic is so important.
Sure, Dwight. It's a timely topic. This is something that I wanted to share with individuals, and especially in the business community. I want to go back, in November of last year, 2024, the International Development Bank, estimated that businesses spend up to about $434 million annually on security initiatives. And this is more along sort of line of corrective actioning. This is not a number that is associated with the everyday security measures. This is corrective actioning. So, for example, your business regularly has security. That's a expenditure that you budget every year. But because of, let's say, a break-in or an attempted break-in, that company now has to spend money. If the burglars are not successful, that company still has to spend money in repairing the damage caused by the attempt to break into the building.
Yeah.
And in many instances, those types of costs are not really appreciated. So the IDB did a study in that regards. What is the after effect? So that's why you have this ripple effect. It also looked at healthcare. Outside of the normal risk as it related to healthcare, how does crime, in particular violent crime, now put pressure on the healthcare system to now, for example, for emergency services, those types of things, emergency surgeries because of gunshot wounds, because of stabbings, those types of things. How is that putting a burden on the healthcare system as well? So
and mental health. Mental health.
I was coming to that, Dwight. Exactly, mental health. Because if now your staff member faces a armed robbery incident, and now they have to deal with that trauma associated with having a firearm put in their face, or the family members having to deal with the stress related to the death or the assault, and be it from rape, be it from armed robberies, be it from murder. There's so many different factors that bring a cost, an unexpected cost, and sometimes a very high cost in trying to manage those particular incidents.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so do we have any idea closer to home exactly what we're dealing with in terms of numbers and long-term impacts?
Right. So the Chamber of Commerce actually spoke about it, right? And the Chamber of Commerce, looking at that study, because it now looked at how does that come home, like you said, and it now is an estimated of about $100 million is now being attributed to that type of loss outside of the GDP. So again, when you take the factor of your regular security costs, surveillance systems, alarm systems, security guards, background checks, all of these things that you do are as a regular, but that those things can be budgeted. You can determine, hey, that we're going to spend X amount of money on a new camera system or expanding the camera system. We're going to spend X amount of money on new hires and having them properly vetted. But here comes the unexpected incident that now causes you to take money perhaps that would have been allotted for training or some other development. You now have to spend that money to recover from the loss incident that occurred.
Yeah, wow.
So like I said, the chamber has spoken about it, and we see that again with even how the police respond, because resources now have to be realigned to manage that particular threat. We saw on Monday, I think it was, we saw several police officers now going into that community that was impacted off of Robinson Road. And they now went in there for a walkabout to try and mend and to try to bring some comfort. But resources had to be taken from normal police duties to now deal with a particular incident. So we see this happening across the country, where we see businesses having to realign and adjust because of an incident that occurred.
All right. So what should a company be doing? Do you need to have a part of your budget set aside in case of crime, a crime fund? I know we've talked about crime plans, but in terms of money, is that what we need to be doing now? Crime insurance?
Dwight, planning for that, this is the gray area. And I've had, with my clients, this is the concern. How do you know when it's going to occur? So again, you allocate X amount of dollars, but nothing happens this year.
Right.
Nothing happens for 2 years. But but when you make a decision, okay, we're going to decrease the budget, something happens. So it's a very difficult balancing act to determine what is at risk, what is not at risk, when something is going to occur, the trends, those types of things. We can imagine, again, using that area, the businesses in that area, they must be making some adjustments as pertains to things like access control, things like surveillance. I'm certain that the police would have visited these different entities to see if their surveillance systems would have picked up any of the individuals who may have been responsible for this incident. So it becomes a very difficult balancing act in determining what am I going to put aside for this incident. And again, I'll speak on a broader perspective. This speaks to any loss event. So here we are now getting ready for what we anticipate. We're in the midst of the hurricane season, and so we may be impacted directly. The severity of the impact of the expecting hurricane, we don't know. So how do we manage and align costs and deploy costs to manage these particular risks? So that is a challenge. There's no clear-cut way of determining how much I'm going to put aside, but realistically, I need to appreciate what are my risks, what are my threats. And I know you've heard me say this thousands of times. I come on risk assessment, risk assessment, risk assessment. Right. What is at risk? What am I prepared to lose? Am I prepared to let, this particular location is prone to robbery. Maybe I need to change the way I service those customers at that particular location, or perhaps I just close that location down completely. So there's so many different ways of determining how you're going to manage that threat as it pertains to how much you're going to spend on it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little more about that. We've seen that in the U.S. Lots of companies seeing customers just taking things, and now all their items are behind lock and key. You have to ask a customer service representative to get you this. Let's talk about that. Is that the cost of doing that? As opposed to having them on the shelf and losing the inventory. What are the pros and the cons of this?
Right. So what you're talking about what occurs in several entities in the U.S. is what is called a no chase policy, and where the business has determined that certain items are not worth the risk in an attempt for staff to recover. And all it boils down to is cost and liability. That's what it boils down to. Am I going to have my staff member chasing a shoplifter for a $10 item when the interaction between my staff member and that suspect could cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars in litigation, injury, time off for that staff member? Perhaps I should just let that $10 item walk out the store. Now, when you talk about having items locked away, then we look at electronic items, we look at high value items that I now have to make a different decision on how I'm going to manage that. So I put it under lock and key. That same staff member now has control of access to that. So you would go to that individual and you would decide, I want this particular item, and then that item is now recovered from the cabinet. So again, it depends on cost. What is that? What is the item that I need to keep, that I need to safeguard, versus the item that I'm prepared to lose. And depending on the business, depending on their budget, depending on how much they paid, they make those decisions to determine what are they going to lose, what they're prepared to lose versus what they're prepared to retain.
Yeah. Do you know of any companies here that have these type of policies or practicing this?
I'm not aware of any entities here that have a no chase policy. Certainly there are companies that do have particular items locked away, and you would have to call a customer service rep to get access to that item. There's several companies in the capital, in Family Islands, where you would have to get a customer service rep to get access. And it could be as simple as having that particular item behind the cash counter. For example, items like cigarettes, high value items may be something that persons place behind the counter. Particular prescription drugs, obviously, those things are controlled. So there are different variations on how businesses determine what are we going to protect, what are we going to retain, how we're going to manage that distribution. So there are different variations. But as it pertains to no chase policies, I'm not aware of any company that does that. So again, don't go into these stores anticipating that you won't be chased, because you will be chased you will be chased. I think that is something that Bahamians are still doing that. The practice for that, and there was a lawsuit, I think, in Atlanta several years ago, and it ended up costing the business, almost 10 times the value of the item, because the staff member in their dedication to the company decided, hey, I'm not going to let this person walk out with this pair of tennis. And the tennis was a high value brand name tennis, but again, at the end of it, the staff member got injured. The suspect involved got injured.
Wow.
They took the company to court. They didn't win, but again, cost, because you got to pay for attorneys, you got to pay for time of staff away from business to address the particular matter, the staff member, the medical fees involved. So when you look at what they spent in recovering from that incident for a $200 pair of tennis, that it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, that business. So that particular incident caused a ripple effect again for other businesses to say, hey, maybe we should just let persons walk. Put in stronger controls at the entry points. But if somebody manages to slip through, then that's something we're gonna have to eat that, so to speak, and as a loss.
So what's generally your advice to companies here in the Bahamas? What do you say to them?
It's always the access control. The access control is critical. Where you put in electronic systems where buzzers will go off if certain packages are taken past the threshold of the business. Having staff members alert and vigilant, moving through those aisles. Sometimes people may get annoyed when that customer service rep comes and asks, do you need assistance? But that again, that does a lot of things outside of good customer service. It also reminds me as a shopper that somebody is watching, somebody is moving in and around and watching. So that's a deterrent, along with the fact that it is a good customer service practice. But it also reminds you that somebody is watching. Security's at the door. You have cameras that are up and running. Using, for example, what is called public view monitors, where you put up in your store, where you show customers the surveillance cameras vantage point, so they can see that the cameras are they're working,
right,
and you are being monitored. All of these are simple steps that can be used to deter individuals, and obviously, if someone still has the nerve and still has that desire, it also can show it's an evidential, exactly. But now you can use it as evidential value because you were seen moving that item.
Wow. Okay. All right. Callers, we'll get to you in a second. But Gamal, we're talking about people who are a threat from the outside to your business, but often we know the biggest threat can be inside. Let's talk about that impact that can have on your business in terms of the many ripple effects.
Right. So the initial ripple effect would be obviously having a proper vetting service, ensuring that you did a reasonable background check vetting of that individual. And that's an additional cost because, you have someone walk in, they fill out an application form and, this is the best worker ever. But you didn't do that background check. Reasonably, you want to do a background check outside of just the police record. I remind individuals that a police record only says you were not convicted. It does not speak to perhaps the amount of times that you may have been arrested for that particular incident. Or accused, right? So that's important. And again, so that's an additional expense. You hire a professional who can do a background check. And one of the concerns I have with clients when I'm onboarding new clients is that they think the movies, the theater has given individuals this sense of secrecy. No, you let that new hire or that potential new hire know that, hey, we're going to be doing a background check on you, and you have to sign a release. So when we go to your previous employer, when we speak with other entities, you released us and given us approval to get this information. So if they don't want to sign that, if they're hesitating, I don't want you going here, I don't want you going there, then that's a red flag immediately.
Oh, wow.
That's a red flag immediately that this person may not be a good fit for your entity. So background checks.
Well, what if they've only had one job and then you want to go to their current employer? I mean, and they say, no, please don't do that. I haven't told them that I'm looking for work elsewhere.
Right.
Is that still a problem?
Yeah, I think you would have to weigh what are they going to be doing, what are they going to be exposed, what parts of your business are they going to be exposed to, and you have to make some decisions in that regard. If the individual, because there's no guarantee that you will hire them, and the fact that they are seeking employment may impact their current employment. So we have to be reasonable in that, but nevertheless, you have to make a decision on what parts of my business are they going to be exposed to? That's important. So again, it goes back to risk assessment. If they're a frontline person and they're going to have minimal access, let's say they're again a customer service rep and they're only handling customers, maybe you make a decision on that, or you make a decision on that. But if they're going to be a cashier and they're going to be handling your cash, again, you have to make another decision. Am I just going to go with not being able to get beyond that current employer, and this person is going to actually be handling my funds, handling credit cards, things of that sort? You have to make some decisions on that. So that's again, it's a decision-making point for that business based on what are they going to be exposed to, what parts of my business they're going to be exposed to.
Yeah, and cameras. I guess that's a given these days, right?
Cameras
to monitor your employees.
Yes. Again, if we're talking about the insider threat, yes, the camera systems, surveillance systems are there to watch everybody. And like I was, reminded a few years ago that the cameras provide an independent verification of what happened. So if Dwight, if you and I are we're doing business together, or you're the customer and we're doing a transaction and you're saying one thing and I'm saying one thing, the cameras don't lie. The cameras are going to dictate and say that what actually occurred from a transactional perspective, that you received goods, you handed over funds, that type of thing. So cameras are a very important part of the business. And again, just like how you are using your public view monitors so that customers can see what's happening and that they're being watched, the employees can also see that, hey, the location is very well surveyed, and now it's difficult for me as an employee to do something underhand.
Yeah.
So definitely, it goes both ways in making sure that the business reduces the exposure to loss.
All right. So, Gamal Nuri, what would be overreach? Being over the top in terms of external threats and internal threats and criminal activity if you're trying to protect your business. What would you say that's really not necessary?
What are you selling?
Oh boy!
Are you selling hot potties?
Right.
Or are you selling the cow? Are you selling the whole cow that the beef that you're going to use? Again, it's what you're selling. What are you selling? Where are you selling it? What is the location? All of these things. Who are the customers? What are the customers? Are your customers more so minors? Let's say you're running a game room. All right. You want to have every area of that, a fun room or a kids entertainment center, right? You want to have every area of that particular establishment surveyed to the point where even access and entry to restrooms. And in many, some businesses, let's say you're working in a radio station, perhaps we don't want to have a camera on the bathroom door to see staff coming in and out. But if we have a area where we have minors involved, we want to have cameras on that bathroom door to see who's coming in and out. I mean, so again, what is the business type? What is the business model is going to determine what is overreach. Have you had an experience before as it pertains to liability, or someone makes an accusation and you didn't do it, but now because of being burnt, so to speak, before, now I need to take certain measures. So again, it all depends on what you're selling, where you're selling it, who you're selling it to, what are your risks involved as it pertains to liability. So you tweak that deployment and implementation of your security measures to meet your needs. Now, there may be legal restraints that exist, and you follow them, obviously. However, you tweak accordingly to ensure that you protect your investment.
So monitoring phone calls, is that ever justifiable?
Yes, of course. If you're in a bank, if you're dealing with customer information, we need to monitor that phone call. And you hear it, you make a call into an entity, and they said this call is going to be monitored for what? Customer service, for quality and assurance. So quality is to make sure that staff are presenting a proper a script, right? But the assurance is what? And something goes wrong,
right?
And you said that you didn't say. We have that recording.
Yeah.
So of course.
What about internal conversations between staff members?
Between staff, again, it depends on where you're working. And Dwight, I hear you, Dwight. I hear you. But let me say again, right? You tweak the business accordingly. If you're using, and let's go back to access rights, right? If you're using my telephone, the business telephone now, not your cell phone. If you're using the business cell phone or the business device, emails, telephones, whatever that may be, to transact, then the employer or the owner of has rights to it. Now, maybe they're not monitoring, because monitoring means someone is sitting and just listening all of the time. But certainly that individual, that entity has a right to record and store that information in the event we need to go back and review. There's no question about that. You know, I've had incidents where dealing with clients where a staff member would have gone on Amazon or gone to their Gmail account on the company's internet platform. You just lost your right to privacy because you're accessing a non-business platform to do your business, to do your transaction.
But it's a Black Friday sale, Gamal. What are you talking about? Like, I'm at work. I got to do the Black Friday. No.
You need to pull out your phone, go across the street in the park, go to the restaurant, sit down and transact. But you can't use the businesses' platforms, the businesses' access points. What we have to appreciate, you know, in this virtual age, that the traditional access point, the front door, that's a physical access point. Right. But when I call into the business, that's an access point. When I email in or email out, those are access points. And the owner has the right to manage, control, monitor, shut it down, whatever they deem fit, to go back and review whatever they deem fit, because that's an access point to their business. So you have to be very mindful of that. You have to be very mindful of that.
Should those policies or rules be declared in some employee engagement in the contract you may be signing at the start of your employment, so persons can now be aware that this is the intent of the business that they are then working for?
Most definitely. Now, that is a good practice. That is a best practice, but that's not a mandatory requirement. Wow. So I agree. It should be disclosed. It should be disclosed to the extent of our security measures, and more so a deterrent. We, again, dealing with clients, and when I do investigations, we didn't want to say, because no, you're trying to prevent the incident. You're trying to deter, because again, when we go back to cost, so you didn't say anything about the fact that that this particular area is being monitored, right? And then something occurs, and so it causes damage, it causes reputational damage, it causes physical damage. But if you had said, hey, this area is being monitored, maybe that individual would have decided to do their things somewhere else. So disclosure, I think, reasonable disclosure to staff who are being onboarded, and to current staff. This is what we're doing to protect you while you're here, to protect our investment, to protect our reputation.
Yeah.
So you manage costs.
Okay. We're talking with Gamal Nuri, the preventative measures, the ripple effect of crime on business sustainability, and the hidden operational impacts and cost of safety and security. We've got some calls coming in. You can call as well, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, I know you've been holding for a while. Are you still there? Good morning.
Hey, morning, Dwight. Guess how you doing?
Doing well. Hi.
Well, I have a question for your guest, right? Okay. Do you think that the self-checkout, like how they do in Walmart now, would work in the Bahamas? Or you think that would cost more stealing of items? And second question, right? And this one is just my opinion now, not factual, just my opinion. I think that the problem is that with the crime situation on the jobs and with security guards, right, we have a serious problem with prostitution of labor in the Bahamas. Once you're willing to work for $150, We ain't doing no background check. Only thing we concerned about is you ain't when your national insurance get taken out, and we paying you $150.
I don't know who this we is.
Right there.
You like this we. Okay. Gamal, you want to respond to that last part? I think the first part is interesting. We can go deep on that one. But that last part, can you respond to that? Is there anything you want to say to that part? People who take advantage of folks.
Well, there's always recourse if the individual is aware of their rights and if they feel that they're being taken advantage of. There's the Ministry of Labor. You can make complaints in that regard if the employee feels that they've been taken advantage of. Certainly, there's always recourse where you can find ways to, reasonable ways to ensure that your rights as an employee are being protected, and vice versa. Employers also have recourse if they feel that employees are not delivering the service that they're being paid for.
Yeah. So the first party talked about self-checkout. What are your views on that?
I think that is possible. It's a slow rollout. And again, when we see these things that are rolled out in the U.S., this is not something that just happens. This is something that are done in test that is done in test markets. Again, the business will have determined that for faster customer service, it'll be more convenient to have customers do this particular task. It reduces cost. It goes back to cost again. One of the things with that space, if you visit a Walmart or other locations that facilitate that, it is heavy surveilled.
Oh yes,
with cameras and a lot of covert cameras as well. Not just the obvious overt cameras where you see the camera hanging from the ceiling. There are the multiple covert cameras, and those areas are also they're also sat where individuals have their monitoring rooms and they're monitoring that space. So again, doing that in one instance may help to save costs as it pertains to the cashier checking out your items. But on the other end, now the business will have to invest in an area where they have persons actually monitoring and surveying that particular space that is being used. So there are pros and cons to it. I don't think it's impossible how it's rolled out. Obviously, we have to make sure that it's something that is rolled out reasonably. Again, I go back to what was done with Walmart. This is about maybe 15 years ago. This is not a new initiative that they did. There was a lot of research and a weighing of cost versus return on that particular type of strategy. And in some instances, they've recalled that process in some businesses where you saw where persons were abusing it. They were, just the crime, the levels of theft went up. So they just recall that, and now they send everyone to a human cashier. So again, it's a business strategy that has to be researched. It has to be weighed out. Can it be done in the Bahamas? I think it can, but the business has to appreciate what infrastructure they would need to put in place now to manage that risk, manage that exposure.
I just have to ask, given the companies that you deal with, where do we see the majority of loss? Is it on the client end, meaning the person's coming in to the businesses, or is it on the employee end, the person's working for the business?
It remains on the employee end. It is always been, from time immemorial, it is the insider threat. It's the insider exposure. It has always been that. And that from everything from, taking the cream or the employee kitchen to employees, misrepresenting that the time that they would have spent, to the employees perhaps having a family member or someone known to them come to their cash counter and they're checking them out when they know they should not be doing it. And so for every third item, they pass the fourth item without checking it. So it's always been the insider threat, and it remains that. And in many veins, in many veins, it remains the insider threat. And again, it's also, you have to also factor in that in many instances it is because of, when we talk about loss in general, not just crime, not just because there are two, there's crime where there's that intent, but it may just be loss where the employee doesn't know what they're doing. They haven't been trained, and just through their poor training. For their nonchalant, a loss occurs when they should have checked out an item or when they should have done a particular due diligence aspect, and they cost the company business. So we're not just looking at criminal loss; we're just looking at negligence on behalf of the employee as well.
So that's mainly retail, or are you seeing that in other types of businesses as well?
Retail and in the corporate sector. What we don't hear a lot of in business, and this is a culture here in the Bahamas where we don't hear where in the financial sector, in other corporate entities, we rarely hear of the employee, the theft or the negligence, because the business is trying to protect loss and now loss of reputation. I don't want to put my money in a bank where I'm hearing on a regular, as we would say in Bahamianese, that there's theft going on. Now it's a matter of trust, and this goes back to the topic. It's a ripple effect. So in an attempt to protect my reputation as a bank, and you trust putting your money, I now withhold the fact that several employees through the course of the year have been caught stealing. So it's again a balancing act of what do I disclose, what do I keep, and how do I manage it? But it's always inside. It's been inside from time immemorial. It's always inside.
Because I've seen a lot of the work companies have now put in from the client standpoint that has prevented a lot. But my question always goes back is I say to myself, if I go someplace and I use my debit or credit card, my fear is not so much so that just ended up leaked somewhere. It's the idea of that employee just quickly snapping a photo, doing whatever it is with that card information. That's always been my concern. That's why I had to ask.
Got a lot of people around here. They'll take your card and walk away for 5 minutes, and like, what are you doing?
Exactly. And when you go back and you do the research, what drove the fact that these portable card machines, right? It isn't just the convenience of it.
Yeah.
The card security industry determined that, hey, too much theft is that employee is taking the card behind to the cashier and they're copying the card. So a driving factor for those card machines wasn't just the convenience to the customer, but it was also to protect the business and to protect the card company. So again, we see where the ripple effect, where we see this convenience. You sit at your table and they bring the machine, they bring your card, and you can see it. So there's a level of confidence, like you mentioned, that, hey, that my card is protected. But the business has been driven to this because there's so many there were so many instances of cards being cloned, copied by the employee when they took it out of your sight, took it out of your view. So there's so many different factors that influence how we receive what we see as improved service. Is it just for the customer's benefit? In many instances, it's not. It's also for the business to protect itself from fraud and theft.
Amazing. We've got only a few more minutes. Let's take these calls quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning and a pleasant day to you and your very powerful guest.
Thank you. Good morning.
In terms of the security and the surveillance for employees, I think it's an excellent idea because a lot of times the employee doesn't really know that it's actually protecting them as well. Because persons who left freeness, free Wi-Fi, and putting all their personal information on someone else's Wi-Fi,
correct,
you stand a chance of losing a lot. So I salute that, and I also salute the idea of having cameras at the entry bathroom, not in the bathroom, of course, but on the entry bathroom to protect young ones and all the rest of it. And lastly, I don't think, the minimum wage is not $150 a week, first of all. And in addition to that, I like to salute private employers who pay above the minimum wage for minimum wage workers. And there are some private workers that do that, employers that do that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi. Good morning. Are you there? Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning to your guest. I just want to say to the public to really take it serious that companies do record your phone calls, because I had an experience since the 30th of September last year where a big law firm stationed in Montague, wouldn't call them no name, record conversation when I called them. And 2 weeks ago, it was revealed with them, and I'm waiting for them to show the audio for that recording. you know, and that's why, you know, I don't need to say it. They're so wrong with what they're trying to do to me with my properties and stuff and my fence and material. But to the public, we have to take that serious, that especially, you know, even law firms do it, okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Well,
certainly-
again, we know.
certainly-
Yeah.
I think that, you know, again, the transaction, for example, and this goes back to the point I made earlier, what is being transacted? With a law firm, for example, right? They're transacting intellectual property. They're transacting information. So in that instance, I think the only thing should be full disclosure that this is occurring. But I think to protect the conversation, that a law firm, it is within reasonable, in my opinion, to record that conversation. But again, it goes back to disclosure, making sure that individuals are aware that the conversations are being recorded.
Absolutely.
But when you're talking about that intellectual asset that the firm is providing, then definitely I think that is reasonable because of the service that they're providing.
Right. But the issue we raised was because we're wondering if they should be internal, if those conversations should be recorded. In most cases, that will benefit the customer if the conversations are recorded.
Right.
My concern, it's not about a crime issue, is that the companies that tell you we're recording this for quality purposes, and yet when you call back 6 months later, it's the same foolishness. So obviously, you're not using this for quality purposes, because why are we having the same issue over and over again? But that's a whole other show. And
That's a whole other
customer
show. I agree
service.
with you on that.
But right? What's going on?
I agree.
Are you learning anything from the calls? Because I had to call about this a year ago, and we're still doing this. But anyway.
And are they recording the fact that you've been waiting for 15 minutes?
Right.
That's 15 minutes recorded as well, that you waited for 15 minutes. I agree.
And I was
with that.
transferred to 6 different people, and still nothing. Like, what are you recording? But anyway.
That's the quality right there. I agree. I agree
My
with you
goodness.
on that.
My
no
goodness.
question.
But anyway,
No question.
you got 30 seconds left, Kamal. What advice, again, your final words to folks out there, businesses just really terrified about crime issues and at their wits' end. What would you say to them?
Right, reach out to a professional service provider, a consulting firm like Preventative Measures, and let us help you cut costs. Let us help you see what you're spending, why you're spending it. Is it making sense? Why do you have 20 cameras? Why do you have a security guard working a particular area? You have to manage this. You have to manage this properly, and that's where you can save money. You can appreciate where you need to actually spend money. Some of these things you can probably transfer to an insurance provider. You just probably need to put a lock, buy a master lock and lock it down. Who knows?
Wow.
So you need to really have an expert come in, Preventative Measures being that expert, and reviewing your processes. But really and truly, at the end of the day, there's no getting around it. You're gonna have to spend money on protecting your investment. It's just how do you spend it and spending it wisely.
Right.
You're gonna have to spend money.
Kamal Nuri, Preventative Measures, thank you so much. Appreciate you always. Great talking with you. We'll talk again next month.
Great, Dwight. Thanks for having me, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yes, you too. You too. We're going to take a quick break and then be back to wrap things up here on Morning Blend Business. Stay with us on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I can lift you up. I can show you what you want to see and take you where you want to be. You could be my luck. Even if the sky is falling down, I know that we'll be safe and sound.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
With RBC,
your ideas become plans.
Your plans become memories.
This is retirement.
And your dreams become your life.
whether it's planning that family vacation, owning your dream home, or retiring comfortably, your ideas are everything. and RBC is here to help make them happen. With RBC, your ideas happen here.
This October, Bahama invites you to indulge your senses at the Culinary and Arts Festival, where world-class flavors meet breathtaking creativity in the heart of the Bahamas. Join us October 22nd through 26th for an unforgettable celebration featuring culinary legends Marcus Samuelson, Dario Cicchini, Simeon Hall Jr., and Scott Conant, alongside a vibrant lineup of chefs and mixologists. Explore captivating art installations, interactive workshops, and live performances, all set against the stunning backdrop of Nassau's premier luxury resort. From curated tasting events to beachfront feasts and immersive gallery experiences, this is more than a festival. It's a feast for the soul. Tickets and packages are going fast. Visit bahamar.com to reserve your spot at the Culinary and Arts Festival at Bahamar, where taste and talent take center stage.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
With RBC,
Your ideas become plans.
Your plans become memories.
This is retirement.
And your dreams become your life.
whether it's planning that family vacation, owning your dream home, or retiring comfortably, your ideas are everything. And RBC is here to help make them happen. With RBC, your ideas happen here.
You work hard for your money, so let your money work hard for you. With as little as $1,000 to start, you can watch your money grow by investing in CFAL's Bahamian dollar and US dollar mutual funds, each tailored to match your unique investment profile. Our expert advisors are dedicated to crafting personalized investment strategies to help you achieve your financial goals. Don't miss out on the chance to earn higher returns on your hard-earned money. Join the thousands of investors who trust CFAL and start your journey toward financial freedom today. Visit us at cfal.com to learn more about our saving and investment options. And let us help you build wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. President of the Bahamas Insurance Brokers Association, Dwayne Swaby, telling Guardian Business that the closer Tropical Storm Erin gets to the Bahamas, the lower the chances are that people would be able to get catastrophic insurance coverage, further warning that deductibles for catastrophic perils can reach as high as 10%. The Bahamas Department of Meteorology encouraging Bahamians to remain alert as the storm continues to build and stays on track to turn into a major hurricane by this weekend. Erin is also on track to be near Bahamian waters by late weekend, early Monday. JetBlue is expanding its Boston-Nassau route this winter, bringing daily flights. According to a statement, the expanded service from Boston Logan International Airport to Linton Pindling International Airport is expected to begin on December 18th. Overseas shoppers spent at a healthy pace in July, particularly at U.S. auto dealerships, as they appear to shrug off President Donald Trump's tariffs, which are starting to take a toll on jobs and lead to more price increases. Retail sales rose a solid 0.5% last month, and June spending was stronger than expected. That's according to the Commerce Department's report released today. June's retail sales were revised upward to 0.9% from 0.6%. The pace in July matched economists' estimates. The increases followed 2 consecutive months of spending declines, a 0.1% pullback in April and a 0.9% slowdown in May. In your market watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Thursday, market movers, Commonwealth Bank moving 42,976 shares, closing at 422, down 18 cents. Focall moving 3,000 shares, closing down 13 cents to 615. Consolidated Water down 5 cents, closing at 657. And Emira Incorporated up 11 cents, closing at 1163. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,994.43, down 0.25. That's your Market Watch, and that is your Morning Business Report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And that's going to do it for us today. Ricardo Wells, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I'll see you in a few weeks, and I'll be back on Monday with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay tuned to the Guardian News Network throughout the day today and the weekend for more, the latest on Aaron. And everybody have a wonderful, safe weekend. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.